Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in today. And today I've got just a little bit of fun video I wanted to share with you guys. Actually, my sister was at my mom and dad's house going through some old magazines, and she found an old 1999 Bassmaster magazine that had it was actually the classic issue that had the classic contenders in it. And I was looking through there, and man, I just remember so many of the old guns that sort of have faded by the wayside. And I thought it might be fun to go through that 1999 magazine and show you guys the classic contenders from 1999, decade past ago. And I thought you guys might get a kick out of that. So let's take a look at this. I'll show you guys. Okay, we'll start out. I'll sort of narrate this thing a little bit. 1999 Bassmaster Classic contenders. I'll sort of go through the list and sort of give you my what I know about the guys that are on here. Here's Todd Otten, 1999 Classic qualifier. Looks like he's 33 there. Todd's still fishing the Bassmaster Elite Series. Solid angler. That guy has been good for a long time. Just a really quiet dude. Awesome angler. Let's go over here, and there's Tommy Biffle, 41 then. Super at the top of his game in the late 90s, during the 90s. Top flipper. You know, superstar at the sport during that stage. Still fishing the MLFs. There's me. 1999, 37 at the time, got the mullet going on. You know, that was the year after 98. I almost won the Classic the year before that, so that was a cool time. Denny Brower. That was back when Denny was really doing good. He had been on the Wheaties box during that period, won the Classic the year before, top of his game at that point. Got Stephen Browning, solid angler. I think he's fishing MLFs. I'm not sure now, but man, he was a stick back in the day in the 90s. Got here Mickey Bruce, solid angler. Mickey doesn't fish anymore, but man, he back in the 90s and 80s, he was a perennial Classic qualifier. Just a super solid angler. Fished Lake Lanier a lot. There's my buddy Brent Chapman, 27 there, young Brent. That was back in the day. Brent and I grew up fishing the Central Pro-Ams together. That's sort of when he got started out. I mean, he hadn't been fishing bass very long, but man, since then he's won angler. Look at that right there, all-time winnings 104,000. That was a long time ago. But yeah, awesome angler, Brent Chapman. There's Big Daddy Rick Clunn. You know, everybody knows Rick, 53 during that time. Like I said, that was, again, Rick was still winning lots of tournaments during that time frame. 53 years old at that point. George Cochran, two-time Classic winner. That's before he retired. Still at the top of his game in that period. He's just perennial Classic qualifier. We got here Ken Cook, 1991 Classic champion. Ken was 52 years old. I think everybody knows we lost Ken a few years ago. He died of a heart attack, but man, he was one of the best spinnerbait fishermen of all time. Made the Classic almost every year. Craig Daniel, I don't remember much about Craig. He was doing pretty good for a couple years fishing bass, but I never did get to know him very good. Mark Davis, Classic, two-time Classic winner, I think. Angler of the Year winner, 35 years old in that picture. You know, that was back mid-90s. That's when Mark Davis was winning everything. Gary Dobbins, West Coast stick, real famous for the Dobbins rod, just a gun out west. I'm not sure how he qualified there. That was maybe Federation deal, Gary Dobbins. Chris Elliott, don't remember much about Chris. Art Ferguson, used to be perennial top 150 competitor. I think he's a guide now in Lake St. Clair. Maybe some down at Lake Okeechobee in Florida. Pete Glusick used to fish a lot, solid angler. I think now he's working with Mike Iaconelli at the Bass University. David Gregg, he made a couple Classics from Texas, super nice guy. Davey Height, this was back when actually Davey won the Classic in 99. I think he won the Classic this year. We fished it. Commentator for Bassmaster now, solid angler, one of the top anglers of all time. There's a young Randy Howell, 25 years old, Classic winner now. Been a solid competitor for years, fishing the MLFs now. What else we got here? Iaconelli, man, look at him there, 27 years old. Of course, he won the Classic. When was that? 2000 and something? I think this must be when he was a Federation. Occupation, fishing department manager, right there. That's a long time ago. Alton Jones, solid angler, has been solid forever. Been around for 25 years. Classic winner, excellent fisherman. Stacy King from my part of the woods back here. Stacy's been a long time Ozark guide. I've known Stacy forever. We used to fish the old Redmans together. Super nice guy, made lots of classics. Danny Kirk, I do not remember him at all. I'm not sure what the deal is with him. Gary Klein, one of the top anglers of all time, one of the greatest fishermen of all time, definitely 41 there. Gary, perennial classic qualler back in the 90s. There's a young Aaron Martins, man, 26 years old. Aaron at that one of my great buddies of all time there, made lots of classics there. I think everybody's wishing Aaron lots of positive thoughts now. He's going through a really tough battle health-wise. Lyndall Martin Jr. from Texas, solid Texas angler, made several classics, fished with him a couple times. Stanley Mitchell, Bassmaster Classic winner, 1981, super nice guy, super solid angler. Stanley was always there in the Classic, qualified for the Classic about every year. He quit fishing, God, probably 15 years ago or more, 20 years ago, to work at a family business, I think. Larry Nixon, everybody knows Larry, one of the greatest all-time pros of all time. 48 years old only right there, wow. And one Classic, one Angler of the Year. Just the epitome of a bass pro. I fished with him one time, drew him out in a tournament. Great guy, nice guy, love Larry. Bob Pastic used to be my roommate with Danny Crea. We traveled together back in the early days. From the Northeast, fished a lot. I think this was the only Classic Bob qualified for. Mike Reynolds, another solid Western stick, did really good. Finished, I think, right behind me in 4th place at the 98 Classic. Was a definite stick. Mark Risk, I don't know him very well. I think he's from out west. Dean Rojas, the Frogman himself, all-time Bassmaster weight record holder, been fishing for a long time. Zell Rowland, Mr. Popar himself, solid angler. Zell's been doing this forever, literally forever. Top of his game back in the 80s and 90s, made the Classics a lot. John Sappington, John, the Forest Wood Cup champion, lives around my part of the country, was almost killed in a boat wreck at an FLW tournament at the Chaffalay Basin. Retired soon after that. Now he's a guide down at Table Rock Lake. Ron Sheffield, in my opinion, one of the greatest all-time anglers of all time. Probably the most overrated bass pro of all time. Ron has won a bunch of Bassmaster tournaments, qualified for the Classic every year. Super nice guy. Bob Soley, do not remember that dude at all. Gerald Swindle, 29 years old there. Young Gerald Swindle. Obviously, he's had a stellar career since then. Angler of the Year winner a couple times. Just a fixture in the sport now. Peter Thelaveros, another multiple Bassmaster winner, solid Classic competitor, made the Classic a lot. Back in the 90s, Peter T was at the top of his game. Mark Tucker, solid fisherman here in Missouri. He's won a ton of tournaments here in Missouri, qualified for several Classics. Kevin Van Dam, there's a 31-year-old Kevin Van Dam. That was back, again, he's always been at the top of his game. I think everybody knows about everything about Kevin there is to be said. Jack Wade, just met Jack a couple times. I think maybe this was his only Classic he fished. Robert Wagley, do not remember him. Kurt Walters, do not remember him. Dustin Wilkes used to fish the Bassmaster circuit a lot. I think he maybe won a tournament, used to qualify for quite a few Classics. And last but not least, Jay Ellis, 33 years old. Wound up winning the Classic, I think in 2002 or 2003. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet on the circuit. And that's the list of competitors out there. Anyway, guys, just hope you enjoyed that little sift through the past there. I sort of enjoy looking through some of those old Bassmaster magazines. It sort of gives you an appreciation for the history of the sport, where we came from a little bit. It's sort of neat to look back in there. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I'll talk to you later.